one thing I want to mention, and this is a public service announcement. This really has nothing to do with church other than, you'll know in a second here, but I'm giving you some information that I wish I would have been given previous. But all the accounts, Mission 61 and Word of Life, were hacked this week. And they had everything. They had the account numbers, the balances, the passwords. They had everything. We did not lose any money. Going to cause us a lot of work. But so I decided to dig into this, and I got an education this week that I thought I knew because I had professionals tell me this. And so I started talking to professional people, and they said, oh yeah, as fast as things are changing, you can't count on that information anymore. So I talked to fraud departments, technical people, and so forth. I said, how did this happen? They said more than likely they cloned either my phone or Mary's phone, but it could have been a device, could have been a computer. They said more than likely it was a phone. I said, I thought phones were secure. Okay, so now here's the good news. Nothing on your phone is secure anymore. Nothing. So do not have any information stored on your phone, your pads, your computers that is important or sensitive information. Nothing is secure anymore. I said, well, I don't use my phone on public Wi-Fi, and I thought that when you do on public Wi-Fi, if you put in a password and do that on public Wi-Fi, they just get that password and they, this, that. I said, oh, no, that's all changed. So let me explain to you what they said to me. And they basically said, consider everything on your phone public knowledge because the hackers can get all of it, okay? So whether you're on Wi-Fi, whether you're using 5G, makes no difference. Picture it this way. You have your website out here, could be Amazon, could be Walmart, could be whatever. But you're standing on this side of a window in your house going out. Just picture that. The window is a hacker's website. And they can get in between Amazon or whatever site you're going to. They can get in between them and you, and your information is actually running through them. Now they have the technology. If you're searching for something on Amazon, while your phone is sending signals out to search, they are emptying your phone. They just tap into it and they clone it. That every piece of information on your phone they can have because they can. That's how it works now. So let me talk a little more. I want you to really understand this. So nothing is safe. We all know that if you get a strange text or a strange email, don't open the links that are in there. Because we all know that is a favored way, but that's not as big a deal anymore. They said absolutely stay off of, don't order anything through Facebook or anything like that. But they said it could be any website, but they're finding like the social media websites are worst because they may be actually selling you a product and they'll mail you the product. But the whole purpose for the company is to get you to tie into them so they can empty all the information off your computer, your phone, whatever. While you're ordering the product, they are stealing everything on your phone. But they say it can happen any place. So I said, so what's safe? What can we do? Because usually they're not after, they're going to get all your emails, they're going to get all your texts, they're going to get all your search history, they're going to get everything. Everything on your phone, they're going to get it all. But they're most interested in your banking because they're after money. I said, so what can we do? I said, the bank apps that come from banks, they're secure, right? They said, consider them public knowledge. They are not secure. They said the only thing right now that is working is two-step verification. So in other words, you try to sign into your bank and they send you a text or an email with a code that you have to put in. So one step is you sign in, then they send you this text and you have to put that code in or email and put the code in and send that back. That's the second step. They said that's the only thing right now that is secure. Other than that, if you don't have that set up with your bank, they said set it up on every bank, everything you've got. Two-step verification. Equal with that is if you have a new enough phone for facial recognition, to where you sign into your bank with facial recognition. That is very good too. The whole concept, well, of I'll keep my, so I was talking to the top technical person at Cambridge State Bank, that's where we bank with. And I said, so how do we do this? I said, how do we do the passwords? She said, well, I'm going to check on an app here and just see what they're saying. She opens up her desk, pulls out a little notebook. I said, you don't have all your passwords in there. She said, yes, I do. I can't keep them any other place, and they're safe. I'm going, I don't want to carry a notebook around. Every time I don't, because they want the passwords 12 to 17 characters long now and all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to remember all that. So talking to the fraud departments, they said use two-step verification on all bank stuff. And highly recommend get a VPN or a virtual private network. And it's an app you can buy where everything going out from your phone and into your phone goes to a server or servers, and it's all scrambled. They're the first stop. It comes out of your phone all scrambled. They deal with that, send it on to the website, and the information comes back through them. They said at this point, they are very secure. A VPN, and they're not that expensive. But you put them on your devices, you put them on your computer, so that everything going out and in is going through this company. And use two-step verification or Face ID. Thumbprint is okay as long as these people are not following you around. I said, what do you mean following? One of them said, thumbprint's okay as long as they're not stalking you or following you. I said, well, what good would that do? Well, they have new technology now that they can put into like a satchel or a backpack or whatever and stand in line behind you at Walmart or at a restaurant or whatever. And without you ever touching your phone, they clone it. They empty the whole thing. They take everything off your phone by standing beside you. They said, but most are not using that because it's really expensive equipment at this point. But it's out there. So if you're at a restaurant and you use the glass and they want you for whatever reason, they'll take your thumbprint off the glass and then use it in your place and get online. So the way we caught them is they called us. They needed the not the bank, the fraud people called us. They needed more information. They were wanting to empty everything and they didn't have quite enough. They were fishing for something. Well, in that process of fishing, I said, this is not right. Something's off here. Well, we're from Chase. We're from Chase Bank. And this has been referenced to us and put on our desk because you've had a couple of fraudulent purchases. They told us what accounts they were in, and I looked them up, went online, looked them up. Sure enough, there they are. They said, and they had put them there. You've had a couple of fraudulent purchases, so the bank referenced it on to us because this is a big problem here, and they want us to get in front of this on this particular whoever's doing this. It sounded so legit. So this, that, and the other, and we're from Chase, and here's my ID number, and blah, 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 blah. I said, it's not good enough for me. I said, how can I verify you? Well, I don't know how you can verify me. I've given you my ID. The number on your phone is Chase Bank in America, Chase Bank, this, that, and the other. I said, hang on. So I called the local bank, put them on speaker, put them head to head. I said, so I'm talking to both of you now. So I talked to the local bank, and I said, could you check if anybody's messing in our accounts or should be in there? Did you authorize anybody to do this? And these people actually hung on for that phone call. I expected them to hang up. They hung on. So they wanted to get something from me. So they thought if we can get through this process, we can find out what we need. And they checked and this, that, and the other. And I said, do you use Chase Bank as, for your cards and to do your security? And no, we don't use Chase Bank. I said, well, these people are from Chase. So they went into the account. They said, there should be nobody in the account. If there's somebody in the account, it's not us. We haven't authorized anything. So then we knew we had a problem. So we just hung up on them, went from there. So after we got the accounts locked down so they couldn't grab anything, I thought, I'm going to call that number. So I called the number. Chase answered. Chase Bank in America answered. Hey, this is Chase. I said, I need to talk to your fraud department. So they ran me through the fraud department, and I said, okay, here's the situation. I'm just making you aware of something. There are hackers who got into some of our accounts. They called us from your number. Do you know that there's hackers calling from your number saying they're Chase people? So either they're in your company or something else. And the lady said, well, I appreciate the fact you called me and let me know that. She said, but to be completely transparent with you, we already know they're doing it, but our team is on it, but we're struggling to catch them and stop it. Because, see, now they've got a nationwide, worldwide 800 number. It's not like they're just going to change their number. That's their number. I said, well, what's happening? So they called it this, spoofing. They spoofed our number. I don't know what spoofing means, but it's the term that they literally somehow route their calls through someone else's number, in this case it was Chase, to make themselves look legitimate. And when it comes up on caller ID, it's Chase. Hey, Chase is calling. Well, that looks pretty legitimate to me. Anything to trick and deceive you. So I say all that to say this. I'll give you what I learned. Two things. Facial recognition or two-step verification on all bank accounts. If you're doing anything with your devices or your computer or whatever, doesn't make you our computers at home, makes no difference. When you go out online with it, we only use our own, and it's got a password on our Wi-Fi. It makes no difference anymore. It doesn't do nothing. It means nothing. Because when you go out to a website, they get in between you and the website, and while they're in between running your information through to Walmart, they're emptying your computer. So it makes no difference. So in banking stuff, two-step verification and or Face ID is best. You can still do the thumbprint, but those two, they highly recommend those two. And they highly recommend getting a VPN on your account. So all your devices are going through a virtual private network, and it's all being scrambled. It's not a guarantee, but it highly, highly, highly reduces the risk. So that has really nothing. That was a public service announcement there. If you want to talk to me about it, I can give you information. I know we got some tech guys here who are really good. I just didn't realize this is like putting it in the newspaper when it comes to criminals, So anything you don't want out there, get it off your phone, because they're going to get it when they tap your phone and see if they can find anything in your bank account. For instance, if you have if you have any passwords in there, they have them all. Even if you don't have them written down, if you auto save them, they have them all. That's why you have to have the two-step verification. So when they try to get into your bank, it sends you a text saying, put this in, and you're going, oh, there's a problem. And or you can sign up for the bank to send you an email every time you go in, which is kind of annoying, but at this point it's very easy compared to what we're going through right now with restoring all these accounts. Every time I do anything in online banking now, they're going to send me an email and said you were in. And if it weren't me, then I know. Welcome to this century, huh?
Is this going to affect online giving at all? Should we not do that for the time being?
The account number is being changed for the online giving to the new account because all the accounts got closed. I don't, the bank is still baffled because they had, your account numbers written on your checks, stuff like that. So that's not a big secret. But they had our balances and they had our passwords. Passwords they probably got this way because I did not have two-step verification. Now I do. So the passwords are pretty easy to get off your phone, which means they got in. That's how they knew the balances. So but online giving will still be fine. But I would suggest for your personal devices, get a VPN. Yeah. It may not work for today because we got a new accountant. The bank's in the process of switching all this stuff over. So you might have to wait a day or two. If it comes back, that was why. The account was closed and the new one wasn't set up yet. So, yep. So if you get any more questions, talk to me afterwards. Unless it's something that we really need to discuss publicly, I don't want to take all morning.
Well, I think it's important, I guess. My question is if they've cloned your phone and you're getting the notification, are they getting the notification too?
They can be, yes. One of the fraud department people let that out. They said since they can spoof your number, when you get the text, they'll get the text saying put this code in. They'll put the code in and go right into your account. But when you get that, if you're not actively doing it, immediately call the bank and say, I think my phone number got spoofed. Boom, I'm not trying to get in, somebody is. Get in front of it. So it's, unless they can figure out a way to beat the criminals, when we go all digital, this is going to be a nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare. It's a nightmare already for us this week, but it's going to be a nightmare. All right, enough for the public service announcement. Children, you can...